It's UFC 279 fight week, and while the UFC fighters have finished their individual media obligations, they look forward to the press conference coming up. Well, I will break down how I believe the UFC 279 co-main and main event will play out by round predictions and how those fights will finish. For the co-main event, we'll get directly into. I'm going to predict how it will go. Jingliang versus Tony Ferguson, in-depth fighting tips. This matchup is very interesting, like I probably mentioned in the previous predictions I have made for this fight. Ferguson moving up, he didn't look too conditioned in his photos. It was kind of sad to see. He went up in weight. It didn't look like there was a lot of muscle there. Obviously, he still has his muscles on his arms and stuff like that, but just like a padding of fat on his stomach. Jingliang does have some big power in his hands, and we'll get started in the first round. Those are some key things that I wanted to bring up in this breakdown kind of thing, just to understand how they are coming into the fight. So Jingliang finds his distance a couple minutes into the fight. Ferguson will start to get going, but will be cautious of the power. I think Ferguson will be able to hit a couple jabs, and around halfway through the fight, Ferguson will be able to hit some good elbows too. I think he'll be looking pretty good early in the fight. He'll be hitting a lot of his combos, a lot of his elbows, be checking some leg kicks. I don't think Jingliang throws too many, but he will be checking some of the leg kicks. Jingliang will be trying to find his distance in that time. I do think Ferguson around 3 minutes 50 seconds into that first round, I think he keeps hitting those elbows, kind of similar to the Michael Chandler fight, but obviously Michael Chandler won't go down, so Chandler won't necessarily take him down because of that. But I do think Jingliang does try and take him down at some point, just to see if he can or not, like how that will be for the rest of the fight. So for the first round, I think Tony Ferguson will get a lot of his, like I said, a lot of his combos, a lot of his elbows in early. And I think Jingliang will start to find his distance a little bit, start to find his timing. It normally takes him a little bit to do that, but I think he'll hit a good shot in there. But I do think he'll take Ferguson down, maybe hold him there for about 45, 30 seconds. Jingliang will get up, trying to avoid kind of the jiu-jitsu threat there. They get up, and I think Jingliang hits Ferguson with a pretty good power shot. And I think he will either stumble, and then Jingliang will come up and try and finish it there, or he will hurt him pretty badly, and then it will kind of end and move over to the second round. And then early in the second round, I think Tony Ferguson starts getting going again, and then Jingliang hits him with that one shot and puts him down. Maybe TKOs him, like punches him out cold, or will flatline him. But I do think in the first round, it will be likely that Tony Ferguson does go out. It's very sad to say because I am rooting for Tony in this fight, but I do think, like I mentioned in the prediction, I think once he takes him down and gets up, I think he's going to be able to catch Tony with a looping right hand that will just put Tony Ferguson out cold. I think for the KO, I think it'll be super shocking. Like it'll just kind of be out of nowhere, like the Chandler fight. But that's how I see that fight going. Some betting odds on this fight are Leach by TKO at plus 125 or plus 115 for points if he wants to sit and basically grapple the crap out of Tony Ferguson, because he is the bigger dude. He will be the bigger dude here. He's obviously ripped at welterweight, and Tony Ferguson looks like he's got a little muffin top for welterweight. And I think he's going to be able to outstrength him here and just be able to hold him on the ground if he wants to by points. I'm not betting on points at all. I think inside the distance or TKO KO for Leach for plus 125 is the way to go there. And I believe under 1.5 rounds is plus 135 too, which are some good odds also. For Nate Diaz versus Hamza Chimaev, for the breakdown of this fight, I believe Nate Diaz comes into this fight also having a noticeably, not large, but a little bit of fat on him. They showed the side-by-side picture, I believe, on the internet that kind of went trending. Not really trending, but it went all over the place on the internet, of Nate Diaz versus Edwards and Nate Diaz versus Hamza. You can kind of see Nate Diaz has abs versus Edwards, and against Hamza, he does have a little bit of layer of fat. Little notice in the face too, he's not as slim. He's a little bigger in the face also. But Chimaev said he's willing to work a few rounds against Nate, kind of test himself, kind of test Nate also. For this fight, I see them standing on the feet for a little bit in the first round. I believe Nate Diaz will hit him with a couple jabs, kind of start going with the 1-2s a little bit. Hamza likes to kind of just stand there and just throws punch. He doesn't really move his head too much, obviously. But Nate Diaz will hit some 1-2s, and then I think out of nowhere, Hamza will just hit him with a jab or a cross or a hook, and it'll like kind of like move Nate Diaz back. Like it won't hurt him, but it'll kind of just like push him back a little bit, like stumble him back a little bit. And then I can see Nate Diaz doing some more combos in there, kind of barely moving out of Hamzat's punches. I think he will eat a couple of Hamzat's punches, and I think he does start to like, this is a weird kind of prediction to say, but I do think he starts to like anger Hamzat quite a bit. I think he starts slapping him. I think he's gonna slap Hamzat, and it's gonna be like, bro, like what are you doing, kind of thing for in Hamzat's brain. Like he's just gonna get angry that he's getting slapped, so you'll see Hamzat just like slap the shit out at Nate Diaz also. Like obviously with the more physical, imposing slap, and I think he's just gonna get angry and then just pick him up and throw him on the ground, put him against the cage, probably taunt him while he has him in the air, and then just starts grounding and pounding him on the ground, just beating the absolute crap out of Nate Diaz, holding him against the fence, beating him there. And I think Nate Diaz probably goes on his back to get into his guard. I think Hamzat will just jump on top. You'll see Nate Diaz try to get up or move over, and then Hamzat will be able to take his back. Not necessarily like Hamzat on his back and then Nate Diaz laying right there, but I do think Hamzat will be over him, Nate Diaz on his kind of like stomach area, and Hamzat just punching the crap out of him where Nate Diaz cannot move at all, and he's just taking loads of damage from Hamza Chemiev. And I think the fight does end later in the first round. I would probably say like after two and a half minutes of the first round, but I do think they stand for a couple minutes. I don't think Hamzat's worried at all about Nate Diaz's punching ability. I think, in all honesty, it could go past one round. It just kind of depends on Hamzat. Yeah, but I'm going Hamzat by TKO. Just the amount of damage that he just unloads on Nate Diaz, and I don't think Nate Diaz is going to fight back during that time. So yeah, first round TKO for Hamza Chemiev. He'll win by a first round TKO. I don't want you thinking Nate Diaz is going to get TKO, obviously that's not going to happen, but Hamza by TKO in the first round. Some of the odds here: Hamza by TKO is -155, Hamza by round 1 TKO stoppage is +250, and under 1.5 rounds is +115. I like under 1.5 rounds there, just for certain, like in case it does go in the second round. 1.5 rounds is really nice. +115 if you stick into a parlay, maybe with Jingliang or something. You can probably get some decent odds in there also. +250 if you're confident in round 1 TKO stoppage is nice too. But yeah, for Jingliang versus Ferguson, I have a late first round knockout, and for Diaz versus Hamza, I have a first round TKO. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. There wasn't enough matchups to make really for the upcoming cards happening. Like there aren't any big fights. Obviously, I believe Giga Chikadze pulled out of this fight on the Sandhagen card. I think he was on there, but there was not too many big fights being made right now. So once there is one, I'll make a video on it. I obviously made the Poirier and the Chandler video already. So yeah, I couldn't really make it there. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time.